Hey, so welcome back for part two. This turned into a multiple part thing. Sorry about that, didn't mean for that to happen, but removing the tank took so long and I didn't want to have a big long video about it. So, yeah. So, next step in the project, gonna be taping up the tank, all the holes in the tank, to start cleaning it the rest of the way out. So what I did was, well, the tanks dropped. You guys saw that in the first part. But yeah, I got the tank all disassembled and everything. And then I took it outside, pressure washed it, ran a hose through it multiple times, tipped it upside down, swashed it all around and all that stuff. And I got a bunch of rusty shit out of it. If I can find my flashlight, I will show you the inside of it. All right, let's take a look inside. There's some flash rusting going on in there right now, along with some of the other stuff right in there. But yeah, so most of that's just flash rusting and some of the liquid left in there, which isn't bad. There was a lot of chunks that came out, which is why my fuel filter was getting clogged up and I was having to change it all the time. But now we're gonna put a solution in it. And I ordered this on Z-Car Depot, which is funny because they don't say the brand on there, but it's the brand that I use for the motorcycle tanks and everything, which is KBS tank resealing kit. So it comes with some directions and stuff. It's called the Gold Standard Tank Sealer. But yeah, a bunch of instructions on how to use it. But first up, we're going to want to tape up all these holes. Now, I didn't tape all of them up because I do have some plugs that fit on some of them, so I plugged that one. And I think there's two on the bottom that I got plugged somewhere. Oh yeah, they're not on the bottom, not on the total bottom. These ones right here got capped off, and I might tape around them too, but we'll see. So really, I just have to tape over the big one, that one, and I don't know if I'm going to tape over that, because most of the rust in there, from looking in there, is not on the top inside. I kind of looked up through this hole, and the top looks pretty good, because that's not really where water's been sitting, but from this car sitting for like 20 years. But I might tape it up. We'll see, just so I can turn it upside down. But I'm mostly worried about getting it on the bottom and on the side walls. Since, you know, that's where the gas goes. I don't have to worry about it being on the top too much. Here we go, all taped up and ready to go. Alright, now the first step is the KBS clean. And with this stuff, it gives you instructions on what to do, but you're going to want to get some hot water and mix it with this, 1 part per 1 part, so just mix it evenly. Alright, I messed this up the first go around because I didn't put the drain plug in because I'm an idiot. Alright, so let's do this again. I saved some of it, but we'll do that again. Here we go. And you can do this a few times, fill it all the way up, or you can fill it up, rinse out, or shake it, do everything you want to it. But I'm probably just I'll slosh it around a little bit like this, just rock it back and forth. And then I will let it sit, but I can see the water's turning reddish brown with the rust, which is good, it's cleaning it. But yeah, so I'll just let that sit for a while probably. And then I will rinse it all out again. And do the process until the solution's gone, which probably means I'll do it one more time after this. But I'm gonna let it sit overnight. It's like 10 o'clock right now at night. So see you guys in the morning. Hey, it's 1 day later. It's actually 2 days later, but I can pretend it's 1 day later. But I drained the the KBS clean a couple times, and then I put it back in there, let it soak again, turned it, left it for a few hours, and sloshed it around a little bit, and then ran a hose in it and diluted it the rest of the way out, dumped the water out, and then I dried it out, which I used a shop vac. I just left this hole open right here, and then the bottom drain hole I left open, and I put it in here and just sucked moisture out, and then I put it on the blowing side of the vacuum, and I blew it the rest of the way out, and then let it sit overnight. But yeah, it should be good now. It looks a lot better on the inside. It's mostly kind of like a varnish remover and a gum remover type of thing. So I didn't really need it that bad. I've ran gas through mine a few times, and it's been good. Mostly my problem's rust deposits, but now it is time for the rust blast. All right, I'm gonna shake it a little bit and then pour it in there. Now the tank doesn't have to be completely dry, but it's nice to have it somewhat dry when you do this. Pour the whole thing in there. And make sure you have your drain plug on. You don't want to waste this stuff. So I'll leave that in there to dry. I mean, not dry, to sit in there for like 5 minutes, and then I'll tip the tank probably on that side, let it sit for 5 minutes, then I'll tip it over that way for 5 minutes, and I'll probably stand it up on end for another 5 minutes, and I'll repeat that process for an hour. All right, I've been letting it sit for an hour now, turning it back and forth and sloshing it around. It's got a lot of the rust off the inside. You don't even know if you guys can really see inside, but I could try. Maybe. No light? Nope. It took a lot of the rust out, a lot of the flash rusting and some of the smaller chunks of rust that were on the sidewalls and everything. But the next step is to rinse it completely out. Actually, they recommend catching this stuff in a bucket, so I'll do that. But I'm gonna take the tape off of there and then off of that nipple right there. And then I'm gonna rinse it out. You wanna try to get all that stuff out. And then after you rinse it, the last step is gonna be the tank sealer. Right over there. And you wanna let this completely dry first. So after you rinse this stuff out, I'm probably gonna run a hose in it for a while just to make sure any loose rust particles get out. Now, it's not super important to get all the rust particles out, because when you use the sealer, that sealer is gonna latch onto those loose rust particles and pretty much embed them into it. So it doesn't matter a lot to get all the rust particles out. I mean, there's still a couple small pieces in there, nothing I'm worried about. But yeah, that's just a heads up if you still see pieces of rust floating around in there. All right, so I let it sit and dry. I actually let it sit for a couple days. Now there is some flash rusting. Not too worried about that. That's gonna happen anyways. It happened as soon as I started drying it. I got most of it out just by tipping it over and then using a vacuum cleaner and compressed air to blow out the remaining moisture and all that, and let it air dry the rest of the way for a few days. But it's all out now, and it's time to seal. Now, I don't have to seal because this tank isn't too bad. There was never a liner in this tank. But with the rust particles, there's still some rust particles in there. So what the sealer is going to do is it's going to help kind of trap those rust particles that didn't get out, and it's going to hold on to them. So, you know, it's like wet paint pretty much. They're going to stick into it, and you're not going to have to worry about it going into your filter and all that fun stuff and changing filters like I've been doing religiously. But yeah, so it's kind of a rubber texture stuff. And where is it? Right here. So it's the KBS Gold Standard Tank Sealer. Yeah, it says about 30 minutes. Yeah, just leave it in your tank and turn it at like every 5 minutes or whatever, or just keep turning it and letting it sit. But we're gonna see what happens. And it says to drain excess out, but it's kind of hard to drain my tank completely. So I don't know, I might leave it in some positions for longer than standard. It says that's okay, to get a little more adhesion, more material to stick to the walls in there, so I don't have to worry about draining out excess. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Alright, now this kit comes with some nitrile gloves or latex, I don't know what they are, but black rubber gloves, and then a stir stick also to stir this up. You're going to want to stir it pretty good, but not in a way that you're going to create bubbles and all that fun stuff. And you're not going to be saving any of this either, because as soon as it hits air, oxygen, it starts to cure, so you don't save any. Oh, and one more thing, coat the threads of your drain plug with some WD-40 or grease. I just sprayed some WD-40 on mine. I almost forgot to do it. That's so this stuff doesn't stick to it. Wow, that smells strong. Okay, stir stick. Yeah, this stuff definitely needs to be stirred. Try not to get any on my hands. Ooh, thick. Okay, and then I'm gonna tip it this way, tip it back down, tip it that way, back down, to the left, you're right, I guess. Get on those sides where the rust was. Make sure, and then again, double check, make sure all your holes are filled, or plugged. Well, filled. Anyways, yeah, make sure they're all plugged off so this stuff isn't pouring out on your garage floor or outside and you're wasting the material. It's not expensive or anything, but I mean, don't waste shit. Especially like this, it's a one-time deal. If you waste it, you're gonna have to buy another kit. You don't just dump it out and retry. Alright, so I already recorded this part, but my battery died, so I'm doing it again. It's the next day. Now, I ended up rotating my tank for like an hour instead of 30 minutes because I used a little bit extra and I couldn't drain it all out, all the excess. So instead of trying to get that last bit out, I just kept rotating the tank. So there is going to be like an extra thick layer in there, which is totally fine with me. I haven't looked at it yet, but like I said, it ended up taking me an hour. So if you plan on doing this with this tank, just know that it could take you a little bit longer. Just because of the shape, you can't drain everything out no matter how hard you try. But I will show you what the inside looks like. Now, you can see there's going to be some like little deposits in there, but nothing crazy. Focus, there we go. It's going to be shiny on the inside, just because that's the way that stuff cures, is kind of shiny. But, yeah, overall it doesn't look terrible on the inside. Kind of see in there, maybe not. There we go. But it definitely looks a lot better instead of what it used to look like. Overall, I think I'm happy with how it worked. I did have a little bit extra in there that I couldn't get out, so I ended up tipping the tank on its side and letting it kind of cure where it was. So, yeah, there's a little bit extra in there, but that's totally fine. Now, this takes like 96 hours to cure, which is totally fine because I'm not putting this back in the car for probably a while. And while it's not back in the car, I'm probably going to use some like undercoating or something on the bottom of the tank and recoat it, just because some of the old undercoating has chipped off. But so I'll be redoing that. I'm probably gonna use like some sort of truck bed liner. But yeah, if you guys like this video or have any comments, let me know. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do whatever. Anything else you want me to do with the Z, just let me know. I'm going to be doing some videos on doing the rear mustache bar because the bushings are like totally gone in it. I got a full bushing kit actually. And I also have front control arms, tension rods, rear control arms, and coilovers to put in. So look for that in the next month or two to hit my channel. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.